We're over here. Hey, come on, you guys. Trouble standing in here right now with the former Southern heavyweight champion Ron Bass, who, by virtue of the fact that he won an elimination match with Handsome Jimmy, gets a return shot with Bill Dundee.
I got a few things that's been gnawed in my gut, Lance Russell, and I'm going to put it to you, Bill Dundee, and all you rednecks out there watching. I've been watching the last 2 or 3 weeks. Bill Dundee, he comes out there and he says, I'm a wrestler. I wrestled Jerry Lawler and I beat the man. I wrestled Nick Bockwinkel. I wrestled the pants off the man. He's the world champion. But I'm going to tell you something, Bill Dundee. You pride yourself at being a wrestler. That's something I eat, live, and breathe, boy. I'm a wrestler foremost. So Monday night, we're just going to see what kind of wrestler you are. I want you to look at me, Dundee. I am 6'2", and I don't know how tall you are. I'm sure I'm 5 or 6 inches taller. I got 3 or 4 inches arm reach on you, boy. I outweigh you 70 pounds. I'm going to tell you Monday night, I'm not going to get in there and punch your brains out like I should. I'm going to get in there and beat you like a wrestler should, so that there'll be no doubt in anybody's mind in the Mid-South as forth who is the real wrestling champion. It's going to be me, Bill Dundee. Monday night, I'm going to wrestle you, take you down, and do you like your mama should have did you a long time ago. I'm going to spank that little bottom for you, boy.
Ron Bass going for the Southern heavyweight title against Bill Dundee Monday night. We'll be back with more action for you in just a moment. What Southern Tag Team title match that took place in the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee? The champions Wayne Ferris and Larry Latham defended against the brother team of Rick and Robert Gibson. Thought you might like some of the highlights. Let's take a look at it. Ricky Gibson takes Latham over and down, makes a tag on his younger brother. Unfortunate break some time back, and that he had his leg broken or tendons and so forth torn up. He is wearing a large brace on his left, has knee pads on both knees, but has a big brace on the left knee. And with Wayne Ferris caught in the head scissors, Larry Latham came down the ropes. Robert Gibson came right back after him. A long reach from Robert Gibson. He takes the tag and comes in with a foot right in the head of Wayne Ferris. The Blonde Bombers, Ferris and Latham, holders of the Southern Tag belt. Danny Davis in their corner. Ferris swinging to the midsection of Robert. Drives that shoulder in. Beautiful! Gibson won! But Latham breaks it up. What a great move by young Robert. Rick comes over and nails Latham. Gets him back outside. Ricky Gibson takes a tag, slips in, hooks Latham in a standing side headlock. Ricky, flying press off the turnbuckle. Ferris jumps in the ring and Gibson just waiting on him. Comes right back at Latham. Gibson's team up. Latham is down 1, 2, and Latham just made it. Rick Gibson, side headlock on Latham. Side headlock with Larry Latham on the deck. Ferris, good ways away from him as Latham is right in the center of the ring. Gibson hanging in there with that side headlock. Latham back to his feet. Slipped under the rope, but thought better of it when he saw Rick standing there. Robert hanging it. Ricky Gibson dusts off Latham. Have looked very good in the opening moments. We're fast approaching the 7-minute mark with 53 minutes to wrestle. Ricky took over from Robert, and the crowd, I think, realizing that they probably did not make a tag. Rick goes after Ferris, who got in there without benefit of a tag. And the Gibson run the Blonde Bombers head on into each other. Whipped in the direction of Robert, who tags him good. Ooh, he just made it. Pressure point hold from Ricky Gibson on Latham. He's on the right side. Holding an edge on the champions, Ferris and Latham. Larry grabs the hair and runs Gibson's head into the turnbuckle. And right into the foot tag to Ferris. Ferris takes over. He was not of Rick. 2, 3. He got it. .10 minutes, 2 seconds. It was going well until Ferris nailed Rick Gibson from behind. Couldn't see what he had in his hand. It certainly appeared to me that he had something. The referee was trying to get Robert Gibson out of it, out of the ring. And so Wayne Ferris turns the tide. Latham makes the cover, but it was Ferris who nailed Rick Gibson, and still the Southern Tag Team champions, Wayne Ferris and Larry Latham, in 10:02.
Well, I'll tell you what a whale of a match that was. Gibson's looking great in there. Ferris and Latham still have the titles. Back with more action coming up in just a moment. Wrestling on Monday night. It is Tuesday night. It's so hard to break that habit. I hope you folks will break the habit and put it down right now. This coming week, because of a prior commitment in the Mid-South Coliseum, action will be on Tuesday night. The ticket office will be open all day on Monday, all day on Tuesday, and of course up till 5 o'clock today. More about that a little bit later. Speaking of the Gibsons a little bit earlier, and that great go for that Southern Tag title on it, we had a chance to talk to Rick and Robert about it, and let's take a listen right now to what they had to say. We're standing here with a couple of guys I'm really delighted to be standing with. Didn't get a chance to them talk before their last appearance in Memphis. Rick and Robert Gibson, and you guys were in here last Monday night in order to go for the Southern Tag belts, Rick. And I got to say one thing. You showed Ferris and Latham that there's some other folks that can get in that ring and get tough.
Well, Lance, first of all, I'd like to thank the people in Memphis for the warm reception that we got. Now, Davis, Latham, and Ferris, we came out there last Monday night to win them belts. You know, I feel a little down today. I feel a little down because of one thing. I underestimated you, Sergeant Davis. I underestimated you. You pulled out one of your tricks out of your bag, but was going to run my head and hold the helmet up and hit my head. Yeah. Right, Lance? You know, I'm standing here, I feel like the uncrowned champion, because all the people, the thousands of people there were in Memphis Monday night, seeing that I had the man beat. I had you beat. I had my sleeper on you. You tried your trick. You tried to hit my head with your helmet. It didn't work. It backfired on you. And then when I put the sleeper on you, I just knew. I knew right then, Lance, that we had the belts won. Okay, Latham, Ferris, and Davis. Let me tell you, especially Davis, come Tuesday night, you better bring all of it. You better load up, brother, because we're going to load up. We're coming out there to win this Tuesday night in Memphis, Tennessee. People, I let you down last week. This week, coming Tuesday night, I'm not going to let you down because I got one thing in mind, and that's to win. I don't care if it takes to break an arm or crack a leg, whatever it takes to pull an eye out, I'm going to do Tuesday night, Lance, because there's one thing I want, and that's the Southern Tag Team belts.
Well, Rick, I don't think there's any letting down or anything else. You and Robert just really dominated Ferris and Latham. That was one man's opinion, but I think it was shared by a lot of them. But I think you did learn one thing, Robert, and that is the fact that, as Rick says, you can't underestimate this Ferris and Latham with Davis alongside. You got to look out for anything.
Yeah, that's right, Lance. They're a heck of a team. Latham and Ferris, I can't take nothing away from you. A heck of a team, but me and my brother, we've been together for a long time. We expect to be together a lot more. Come this week, baby, the titles, shine them up real nice and pretty, because we're going to take them.
Tuesday night, it's all going to happen right there in the Mid-South Coliseum when Rick and Robert Gibson will be challenging Ferris and Latham with Danny Davis along ringside for those Southern Tag Team belts. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Lance.
Okay, we're about ready for action, Davey. Let's hop back up in the ring and get this next bout.
This is going to be a one-fall, 15-minute time limit match. Introducing from Union City, Tennessee, at 218 pounds on the right of your screen, Coco Ware. Going against him from Tampa, Texas, 290 pounds, Ron Bass. This match will be a one-fall, 15-minute time limit. Referee Paul Morton.
Okay, off comes the gear. Bell time. And here we go, Davey.
Big Ron Bass, former Southern heavyweight champion. Round behind Coco Ware, rising down to the mat. Coco. Yeah. Good quick move.
Been interesting watching the development of Coco. He's around behind Bass. Look at him take the big guy down.
Puts him on the mat. Now let's see if Bass can work his way out of it. He does by going for the rope. Oh. Bass giving Coco that I am upset look as he got back on his feet. Didn't seem to faze Coco too much. He grabs Bass in a headlock. Bass putting him in the rope. Coco standing there waiting, and right back on the headlock. Coco Ware out of Union City, Tennessee. Coco's put on a couple of pounds since the first time we saw him. Coco into the rope. Oh, he ducks under the big elbow that Ron Bass was going to throw at him off the ropes. Coco is back with a headlock. Coco Ware hanging on to the headlock. Bass breaks out of it, puts him in the rope. Rolling arm lock coming off him. Coco kicks him to the mat, and he is again setting up on the headlock on Ron Bass. Bass trying to shake him. As picks Coco's feet up in the air, Coco rolls him down to the mat, and he's still got the hold. Bass has tried everything to shake out of the headlock, and he has broken the hold briefly a couple of times, but Coco able to set up on it again. And we're 2.5 minutes into the action.
Coco, while he is not the tallest wrestler, nor very powerful in his arms, and Bass is having some problems with that.
Oh, Coco hard into the turnbuckles, moves out of the way as Bass was going to follow him in there. And there it is again. Coco Ware with a headlock on Big Ron Bass. Bass picking Coco up, but again, Coco stays with him. He keeps the hold.
Got to make Bass mad that he isn't able to shake Coco on that side head.
We're, let's see, 3 minutes, 19 seconds into the match right now, and Coco has had this hold most of that time on Ron Bass. Coco back to the rope. Bass breaks out of Coco, steps over. Look out, he goes right back to the hold again. That's about the 4th time he's done that. Oh,
suplex.
Suplex by Bass. And a good one. There's a cover. 1, 2, 3. That's it.
Boy, the big guy was in trouble with that side headlock in there, Dave, but he came through with that suplex in there and mashed him with that big elbow in there. Great effort by Coco.
That's how you wrestle, man.
Bass convincing everybody he's a wrestler. And then what was the time?
3 minutes, 53 seconds.
3 minutes, 53 seconds. More action for you in a moment. Right now, time out for this.
And every dryer is on
stairs, and I got a little film I'd like to show you, then I'd like to talk about it after. Okay, can we roll the tape right now?
Okay, let's see what we've got right here, Bill.
Now look at the wee Jimmy Hart, right? There's the subject in the white coat I want to talk to you in a minute. See that guy in the white jacket? That's the subject I'd like to talk to you
Jimmy
on.
Hart.
Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy,
the
known him a long time. That obviously in front of Jimmy is Jerry the King Lawler.
Exactly who that is.
This was in the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, last Monday.
Jimmy has not been known as a manager in wrestling or anything, Billy.
No, but he's been around a long time, and I'll explain to you.
He's been a friend of Jerry's for a long time, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
At this point, I think there is some discussion. You were talking...
Telling Hart to sit down at the bell where he usually sits. He wanted to sit ringside for some ungodly reason, I don't know.
Yeah, Jimmy normally sits down at the timer's desk there, and...
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. He has one eye when somebody's sitting in my corner, right?
And so you were at that point going back to get somebody to come over there and get Sonny to come sit at ringside with you. Seems to be some objection in there. Jimmy Hart, again, identifying as a longtime friend of Jerry Lawler's and standing in there in the white coat. Billy coming back with Sonny King at this point. And you were just having a little insurance to have Sonny in your corner?
Sure, Lance, when you got somebody sitting in your corner, it gives you a little confidence at any time. But when somebody else, you know, when there's a guy sitting in the opposition's corner, then I think it's only fair to have somebody in yours.
Well, there was a big discussion in terms of whether the legitimacy of Jimmy. It was determined that he did have a license.
Quit the film, all right? We can
yeah. Okay. Well, there was Jimmy.
Right. Now, when Jerry Lawler and I was on better terms than we are right now, Jimmy Hart was always there. You know, I don't know, this is a man's business, and it's for men. It's not for the likes of Jimmy Hart. Now, I don't know what he is to Lawler, whether he's his friend, his valet, or his sweetie pie. I don't know what Jimmy Hart is, but I know this much. Remember Jerry made a record, and it was just for fun to sell around the wrestling matches?
Yeah.
Jimmy Hart was the guy that said, Lawler, take it on the road. You're great, Lawler. You're the greatest thing that ever walked. You can wrestle better than anybody. You can sing better than anybody. Lawler, you're the greatest, man. Hart went around town telling everybody, Jerry Lawler is the greatest. He even wrote the song, Jerry Lawler is the King. Did you know Hart wrote that? He sat up nights writing that thing about Lawler. The man's in love with Jerry Lawler. Hart, let me tell you something. This is a man's business, and it's for men. Now, I got a man standing right here. Pat, his name's Pat Hutchison. Yeah, he's a man. Yeah, Pat Hutchison. He comes down here every Saturday morning. He gets his brains beat out, but he comes here every Saturday. And that takes a man to do that. Now, Pat, have you ever won a professional wrestling match in your life?
No, that's
No,
it.
he has never won a professional wrestling match in his life because he's wrestling men. Jimmy Hart, I got a proposition for you. I got $5,000, Lance Russell, for Jimmy Hart to wrestle my man, Pat Hutchison. Yeah. This is not for the likes of Jimmy Hart. He shouldn't even be in the wrestling business. If he'll step into the ring with Pat Hutchison, I'll put up the prize money, $5,000.
If he can beat
Pat Hutchison, he'll get $5,000 of my money. Now, there's two reasons why he's not going to accept. The first is, and my money's going to be safe. The first reason is Jimmy Hart is not a man, and the second reason is he can't beat Pat Hutchison, and Lawler won't let him accept.
Well, it's kind of a unorthodox thing, Bill. I know Jimmy Hart has rooted for you.
We won't drag this thing out, Lord. That's right. That's how I feel about Jimmy Hart. You just get him out here and see your wrestling man. Let's go, Pat.
Okay. Well, that week, odd championship wrestling. Bill Dundee just threw it out in here. He was irritated, I know, at Jimmy's presence. As we said, Jimmy, we've known for quite some time, successful musician. He's been a longtime friend of Jerry's, and he did end up at ringside at that match, and as a matter of fact, he was more than just vocal in his assistance. Bill Dundee has put down the challenge that if Hart will get in and wrestle Pat Hutchison and he can beat Hutchison, here's the King and Jimmy Hart. If he can beat Hutchison, he wins Dundee's $5,000. That's how confident he is.
Lance, why don't you go home? Your cage is probably cleaned out by now. Don't you realize that?
Okay.
Did I hear right?
Do you accept?
Do I accept? And does Jimmy accept? Of course we'll accept. That is the biggest joke that I have ever heard. Let me tell you, first of all, it's true, Jimmy Hart is not a wrestler. But I can teach, being the greatest wrestler in the world, I can teach Jimmy Hart enough in 5 minutes to not only beat Pat Hutchison, but probably beat Bill Dundee also. So we will accept because we like taking money from a little sawed-off runt like Bill Dundee. Let me tell you something, Dundee. You little punk. Do you realize, I know him like a book, man. Hanging around that scum for 2 years, I can read him. I know what he's going to say before it even comes into that little pea brain of his. He stood out here. You know what? You know what his whole purpose in doing this was? He didn't think we'd accept. He never thought Jimmy Hart would accept. All he's trying to do is show you rednecks out there that he's got $5,000 now. He won the Southern Heavyweight Championship, and he's had it for about 3 weeks, and he's gone out for the first time in his life and earned himself $5,000, so he wants to let everybody know it. That's what kind of guy he is. Let me tell you something. He used to talk about riding and driving me and letting me sleep in the back of my Lincoln Continental. You know what he'd do? He'd come over to my house and he'd say, "Let me drive us to the town, Jerry." And I'd say, "Okay," and I'd get in. He'd say, "Why don't you get in the back and go to sleep, take a little nap?" I'd say, "Okay," and boy, he couldn't wait till I laid down where the people couldn't see me. He'd put on them little Elvis Presley glasses of his, and he'd crank that seat up as high as it could go where he could just see out over the dashboard, and he'd drive around and make everybody think that was his Lincoln Continental. Let me tell you something, Dundee, I know you, boy. You're trying to be a big shot with $5,000, but it's going to backfire right in that little punk face of yours. We're going to be down there this week, and I'm going to have him ready, and I'm going to have him primed. Look at this man right here. I'm going to have him primed, Dundee. And we're going to take that $5,000 of yours, boy, because you've done made some bad insinuations about me and a personal friend of mine. If there's anybody that's any a little bit funny around here, it's you, Dundee, putting on those little funny-looking capes and those big bug-eye glasses and trying to impress all the little girls. Well, your days are over, buddy. You're going to be broke. You're going to be so broke you can't pay attention, because we're going to be down there and we're going to take his money. You write it down, baby.
Put his hide in the ring, yeah.
He's willing too. Don't think he ain't afraid,
Jimmy,
baby.
you better reconsider on this.
With a king there, I'll be there, baby.
That's right.
Okay, listen, we've got some more action coming up for you in just a moment.
Dundee. Boy, what kind of action there was in a half in there. We want to flash you back to the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. Let's take a look at Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee. What a scrap.
Oh, Lawler right in the mouth. He nailed Dundee. He got him with the top of his foot, though. And the only difference that would make would be that it happened to be legal. Lawler distracting the referee by accusing Sonny King of something. Drops that elbow right on Dundee's head. Once again, the elbow drops on Dundee. Referee Jerry Calhoun wanting to inspect that elbow pad of Lawler's. Lawler dropping again with the elbow. Sonny King earlier had told the referee he didn't check that pad good enough. Whoa, Billy from the floor. Just when you count him out, he'll really sting you. He came with a shoulder to spear Lawler. Lawler met him before he got all the way there with a broad arm. Shoulder in the midsection. Split Lawler's leg right out from under him. Power slam from Dundee. One. Lawler with that knee Whops him on top of the head, breaks the count. Boy, the crowd getting double their money's worth in this one bout alone. Lawler down as Dundee straightened him out. Billy missed the rope. He's tired. 2. Lawler kicks out. Dundee pounding Lawler, and the referee started a count. Dundee takes a swipe at Jimmy Hart. Referee Jerry Calhoun that time was the subject of Bill's flying press. Jimmy Hart, look, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And the superstar wins a wild brawl. Bill Dundee over Jerry Lawler in a wild brawl in 24 minutes and 20 seconds.
All I can say, Dave, is that it was no more one way or the other in terms of rule violation.